Very happy to be joined by Canadian men's national team icon Julian De Guzman. 89 times he's played for Canada. Now he's talking about Canada. And you know, Jules, as a player, you were confident, but now in TV, you're dropping guarantees like Marc Messier.
Hey man, I'm doing what I can do, man. But I certainly enjoy the moments, and especially the run that we're having now. To be a part of it, it's just been great.
Hey, Jules, I mean, come on, let's be honest. If you're playing still, you wouldn't be making any predictions. It's easy for us to make predictions now when we retire, isn't it?
Hey, you know, now I get to understand what's happening on the other side of the line, and you know, it makes sense. It's better when you have the experience behind your belt, and you could deliver. And I think this is why we get to do it, Craig.
Hey, Jules, I want to ask you about a player you know very well, Atiba Hutchinson. You played together for such a long time in the national team program. What's it like to watch him at 39, still playing at the top of his game, and so close here to living out a dream and playing at the World Cup?
It's mind-blowing. You know, this is his 5th World Cup cycle. He's going to definitely hit the, 100 cap mark, and you know the height he keeps bringing this the bar for our men's national team and for the future of Canada. It's just great to see that his age, him still playing pro in Turkey and winning trophies. It's amazing. It's amazing. And whenever I get a chance to talk with him, and even yesterday after the match, it's like, we know this is going to happen, right? You get this giggle and this laugh like we were kids, and today, you know, it's about to happen where he's going to be the guy that represents guys like myself, Craig Forrest, who have gone through the struggles and the sacrifices, and you know, it's been absolutely amazing. So to have him involved in that squad and be the leader of the group, so just to have him hold that flag and lead the troops to Qatar, it's amazing to witness.
Julian, just quickly on him as a player and how versatile he is. I mean, not a center back, but to be able to kind of play every role on the pitch. There's not too many players that fit a profile like that for John Herdman, for any manager.
But he makes it look easy, right? Like, it makes it look like he's a natural center back if you put him there. It makes him, he bosses it in the midfield, and he's played right back for quite some time, playing in Holland and in Europe as well. So that's just Atiba Hutchinson right there for you. You know, it doesn't matter where you put him; he's going to be the best, that he can be in that role. And last night as a center back, I mean, we saw a play where misjudged the ball, but was able to catch up to a Joel Campbell who was alone on goal, and still having that pace in the legs to do that at 39, and it's just unbelievable. And that's a special thing for Canada to have.
You know, Julian, we need to talk a little bit about the differences that we see now as opposed to back in our day, because we know for generations and generations of players with the Canadian program knocking on the door of the CSA that we need to be more professional. If we're going to be competing in a sport that the whole world plays at, it's got to change. Now, we've seen it change on the field, amazingly, and John Herdman has got all the tools, all the pieces that he's needed. They have a staff of thousands. They're doing it properly. It's professional. But what have you seen, other than the obvious, as far as differences go, from our day?
You know, speaking with the few guys there that I've played with, it's a much different narrative. It's a whole different attitude and approach to these camps. You nailed it there, Craig. You said professional, and that's exactly how it feels. You know, these guys are, experiencing that same treatment at their clubs. Why not experience it at your country? And that's something we were missing out on whenever we got the call up for the national team. You know, it didn't feel like we were getting that same level of professionalism. We felt that, we had to kind of do it ourselves and never really had the support and the backing. But today it's a much, much different look for this national team. And it's definitely showing on the field, where these guys go into games in Azteca, into the US, into Costa Rica, and they're talking about winning. We never thought about those terms, walking out the tunnel and thinking that we would go and beat Mexico and dominate a CONCACAF group. So that's just the exact same approach that, we're seeing on the field, but it all relates to what's happening off the field. And John Herdman has done an absolutely amazing job.
Talking about Azteca, seeing Jonathan Osorio there, that must have, really been a good feeling for you. Obviously, you were involved with each other in the national program, but you were the first Canadian designated player. Talk to us a little bit about the impact that Major League Soccer and the development of the league, but those 3 Canadian teams, has had on the national team.
Well, just yesterday's starting lineup, we saw 4 MLS players there. In total, 5 played that match, right? And a lot of them have to do with the Canadian teams, and it's finally coming together where our MLS Canadian clubs are recognizing that there is talent. There's a group of players that deserve to be playing. again, before in the past, we used to have guys that never played for their clubs or didn't even have a club get called to the national team. Now we have 3 Canadian MLS clubs plus CPL teams that are allowing these players to get the minutes. And that's so important when you get that call up to the national team. You're coming in fit, you're coming in sharp, ready and prepared. And that's where, we could use that to our advantage. And there's players now getting the respect in American clubs in MLS as well, starting positions, becoming dominant players, and they're getting the call up as well. So that's definitely helping our program. This is exactly what we've been missing for many years. And, we're finally seeing how much of that has helped the boys get their minutes and be prepared for these World Cup call-ups.
Julian, one thing we haven't touched on yet is actually the game itself against Costa Rica, and yet we didn't get the result we wanted, as a nation. But there was a lot of positives in that game. I think there was a lot of moments in that as well that are going to be lessons learned. Silly sending off to know what you're dealing with, and up until that game against Costa Rica, all the calls have gone Canada's way. They haven't had much diversity. So if you're going to have a bit of diversity, this is probably a very good time to do it, as well as getting to introduce Koné into the lineup. But overall, when you look at that second half performance, 10 men against 11, it looked the other way around. And Canada basically battered them second half. And that's got to be some positives for those guys coming back to Toronto for Sunday.
That was amazing to witness. We go a man down in the 35th minute, and you would imagine in the past and how we used to just sit back and just absorb attack, and just wait for something to happen, and you might just get over the line twice, But we were a man down, and it felt like we were still, 11 men on the pitch, and I think that's that brotherhood, that this group has created. They stand up for each other. The moment someone goes down, they're going to stand up for a Mark Anthony Kaye, and make sure that he learns his lesson. But this is something that the guys become stronger about, and that's exactly what I witnessed on the sideline there, where wow, they absolutely dominated the game. The moment we went down, and the Costa Ricans knew they were in danger, especially going to the second half. You had guys like Stefan Estacio, Richie Larea, who haven't been playing much of their clubs, but it seemed like they were the fittest ones on the pitch, and it's just the energy and the confidence and the passion that those boys had. They all did it together. It wasn't just one or two guys. It was the entire group. Whether you're playing, whether you're on the bench, you could sense that brotherhood, that tightness and the unity that those guys have. It's nothing like we've seen in the past. So it was great to witness. But I tell you, Costa Rica, we're very lucky that we only had 10 men on the pitch.
Yeah, it definitely seemed it. Jules, I love a quick thought on Ismaël Koné. Brand new to the national team setup, 19, got some minutes against Costa Rica last night. You'd never know that was his debut.
I was talking to some of the guys after the game yesterday, and it's like, man, it's as if he's playing with us, for years. And, it was great to even witness his debut against Santos in the Champions League, big match, big Mexican club. And that's when I recognized, wow, this is a special player, but maybe it was just a lucky match. But going into the MLS season, he's been dominating every game he's played so far. And I'm not surprised that he's called up to the national team. And that's one thing I think we're going to witness. This generation we're seeing now is, one of the best, if not the best. However, I strongly believe, in the future, seeing the guys like Koné, we've seen Davies, we've seen Jonathan David, but there's many more to come where this generation could even get better. And it's a scary thought to even think about when you're talking about soccer in Canada, but Ismaël Koné is going to be one of those guys to look out for. And we're glad to see that this is happening sooner than later.
Julian, we loved watching you as a player, man. We love watching you on TV. Thanks so much for doing this.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.